Shaken yet standing firm.
I was not built to break.
This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
The following is a paid political broadcast. The views, information, or opinions expressed in this forum are solely those of the participants of this event and do not represent the views of the management and staff of Radio Cayman.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record, a land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is Monday, the 8th day of March, 2021. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Mr. Mario Ebanks, no stranger to the people of the Cayman Islands. Mr. Mario Ebanks is a candidate in the upcoming April 14th general elections here in the Cayman Islands. He was nominated on last Monday, the 1st of March, as a candidate for the electoral district of West Bay West. Mr. Mario Ebanks, good morning, sir. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C. Thank you very much for having me, and also thank you for your service as well. You're an outstanding retired civil servant, but still doing a lot of work in the community, so I thank you. And I also want to say good morning to all the listeners in West Bay West, but in the Cayman Islands in general, including our sister islands, Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, and also some friends around the world who are listening as well, some of my university friends in the United States, and also one as far away as Kenya. Is going to be listening, although it's very late there now in the evening, but he's going to be listening, he said. I am a 8th generation Caymanian. I'm the great-grandson of West Bayers. I grew up in West Bay from 1968. I'm married to Lavinia Ebanks, formerly Miller of Northside for 32 years, and a resident of Coral Gables in Northwest Point for the past 28 years. I am a community leader. I regard myself as a good shepherd, also a proven humble servant. I believe that I'm seasoned, tested, and Mr. O.C., I'm ready to serve in whatever capacity God allows after 14th of April and beyond.
Okay, now, when you say you're ready to serve on day one, obviously you have some persons who are elected to Parliament who come with no governmental experience, maybe experience in the private sector, but no governmental experience. Let's talk about your experience inside of government as well as in the private sector.
Yes, I in my career, I have had a diverse range of opportunities in the private sector and the public sector. And sometimes through that journey, I kind of wondered and asked myself and asked God, why was he putting me in these different environments? But looking back now, I've broadened my horizons so much that I can relate to so many different subjects and people and their struggles and opportunities. And sometimes when I speak, even in some settings, when I was in government, for example, whether it was in the ministry or whether when I was director of Department of Labour and Pensions, people will hear me talk about various subjects and they kind of wonder, well, how does he know about this? But it's because I have actually been exposed to it. So I say that to say this, that I could have chosen to remain a private citizen and not have the stress and the scrutiny of being an elected leader, but I felt that I needed to offer myself at a more strategic level in the community. And whether I am elected or not, I'll serve, continue to serve as I've done for the last 35, 40 years, as best as I can. But if I am elected, and I believe I will be elected in West Bay West on 14th of April by the help of God and by the hundreds of people who have been calling me and encouraging me and praying for me and also volunteering to do various things for us, for our movement, I'm ready to serve either as a member of parliament, an MP, a parliamentary secretary, a minister, a deputy premier, and even the premier. I'm willing to serve. And I believe that with God, all things are possible. I think we can work together with a broad range of people all around us to achieve great things. And to God be the glory, great things He will do. So I bring experience. I think I bring humility. I bring competence. I bring integrity. And I want to say to people that if, people say I should say when I'm elected, but I say if I'm elected, I will bring not the will or the wish to be there forever. And one of the things you see on my manifesto topics is limited term. I will commit to at least 8 years or 2 terms, but towards the end of that second term, I want to find someone that I can work towards mentoring to succeed me wherever I'm at. And that's how I operate in life. I always like to leave some people in charge when I'm moved on, because I believe that there's no success without a successor. And I've always tried to do that wherever I went in the public or private sector.
So despite the fact that there is no term limit provisions in our Constitution as far as an elected member of Parliament serving, you would voluntarily do that because of your commitment to mentoring and not wanting to hold on to the position as a legacy position.
Right. No, I commit to 8 years or
Yes.
2 terms. If there's no other person that wants to succeed, obviously, I will continue if the public wants me. But one of the things that I'm going to put in my manifesto, which is being developed now, is a limited term for all parliamentarians of no more than 20 years. Right now, we have a limited term for the premier, where he or she can serve for 2 terms consecutively.
Right.
Then they have to take a break and they can remain as an MP,
Right.
but they can't do more than 8 years as a premier. I want to do a limited term of 20 years period for parliamentarians with the same 8-year limit on the premier. And so after 20 years, the person has to move on. Now, there are pros and cons with that. You get, in the United States, for example, I believe the limited term came about when Franklin Delano Roosevelt was there for almost forever. And they then put in place a limited term for him because he was, he could have been there for a long, long time. But so you can get a lot of good people who you have to say goodbye to because of a limited term, but you can also have a lot of bad people who their time has long expired and they're still staying in there because of their ability to get votes, whether that's buying votes or whatever. But the time comes where, like it or not, they have to go. So it's pluses and minuses, but I believe that there's more advantages in a 20-year limited term than disadvantages, and you can get the opportunity to mentor and develop people and move Caymanians, young Caymanians up through the ranks to become leaders at whatever level they aspire to be.
Right, and one of the arguments, of course, used before was that, if you have good people in there who is serving and the difficulty to attract other persons who have an interest in elected office, but that no longer obtains. We see here we have 50 candidates in this general election. These general elections coming up, 50 candidates. So that let's talk about your religious persuasion, and obviously religion plays a strong part in your life and your activities. And you, in your life story, you relate to reading a passage from Thoreau. Tell our listeners and viewers about that.
Thank you. In my journey to becoming a candidate, I struggled a lot. I really agonized because I had a very good job at the Airports Authority as Chief HR Officer. And prior to that, as you know, I was the Director of Labour and Pensions. And my wife and I and my family, we, like every family, we have our stresses and whatnot. But we have a good life, and thank God that Cayman Islands allows that. And so I struggled, but I began to get a lot of calls around the middle part of last year as the country was going through the lockdowns and the pandemic, and people were concerned about the future and about resetting the clock to go forward. And also when the unfortunate incident happened with the current incumbent for West Bay West, a long-serving politician of 36 years, people started to call me and make representations, and even a lot of big supporters of the incumbent. And so I started to think about it again, because I had run the last time in 2005, and I'd said to the people in West Bay, it's over, I'm not running again. And but that was before you had single-member constituencies, that was before you had this current situation. So I struggled, and I went to God in prayer, I went on my knees, and I read scripture, and I even read the scripture where Jesus was in Gethsemane, and I'm not Jesus, far from it, but I read where he said, take this cup from me, not my will, but thine will be done. I kept saying to God, give this cup to somebody else. The cup of service at this time, I don't think I can handle it, I don't know if I want it, but God kept on putting people in my presence that said to me, no, this cup is yours. You need to take this cup. So I was struggling and praying and listening to people. And every time I said no, something happened that made me think yes. Then on the 1st of January, I was reading my devotional. My wife buys me a devotional for Christmas every year. And the 1st of January, I read the first one. And in the middle of that scripture, there was a quote by philosopher Thoreau. And it said, most men live their lives in quiet desperation and go to their graves with their song unsung. And I read that, and that thing hit me like a ton of bricks. And I said, Lord, is this you speaking to me? Because, I want my song sung. And so I use that writing, those words from this philosopher Thoreau, as my signal, as my clarion call, as my lighthouse, that the people of this country, the people of West Bay West, and God wanted me to serve in the capacity of an elected official as a member of Parliament, not to be a puritanical, conservative Christian necessarily, but to be a person of integrity, to show and to serve in that particular arena, and to claim territory for His people and for all of us. And so that quotation by Thoreau, as I said in my declaration statement that you were referring to, is one of the things that helped me to decide, along with all the other scriptures and prayers and things that happened that were like revelations to me. And here I am, ready to serve. And the other thing that I thought about over the years is that every year, I for the last 20 years, I've been presenting an award at the John Cumber Primary School, Sir John A. Cumber Primary School, the Mario Ebanks Award for all-around performance. And every year those little boys and girls come up to that stage and they receive their awards, and I shake their hand, along with other people who do awards as well. I shake their hand and I look at them and they look at me, and I can see their aspirations. I can see some of the hurt in their eyes. I can see their being timid and scared. And I kept remember saying as I leave that platform, who will stand in the gap for those children? Who will fight for them? Who will make sure that their dreams become a reality? And I left that stage every time with a heavy heart. But this year I'm saying, here I am, send me.
Okay, that's a good point for a commercial break. And when we return, of course, you're talking about here I am, send me. So we will get a snapshot into some of your major manifesto items and your agenda for action if you are elected. Folks, please stay tuned. The conversation with Mr. Mario Ebanks, a candidate in the district of West Bay West in the upcoming April 14th general elections will continue, so please stay tuned.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Glida Forbes, Certificate of Honor, 1916-1991. Glida Forbes was the pioneer of Adventist Christian education in the Cayman Islands. Miss Glida, as she was affectionately called, operated a school in Georgetown for many years. This school was the forerunner of Cayman Academy, formerly Edmer School. Miss Glida touched the lives of hundreds of boys and girls. She can be described as the Mother Teresa of the Cayman Islands because she took many children into her home and gave them care, nurture, and love.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
We are telling you ahead of time, giving you the heads up to get ready. The Black Tie Affair with a circus twist. Step right up. The annual gala hosted by Rotary Central for the Alex Panton Foundation. Saturday, May 29th, Marriott Beach Hotel Ballroom. Step right up. Support the Alex Panton Foundation, dedicated to serving and preserving young people through vulnerable times, mental health intervention, treatment, guidance, preserving life. The ambience of a circus affair. Tickets are limited, tickets are precious. Get your tickets from Rotary Central members. Go online to Rotary Central and the Alex Panton Foundation Facebook pages. Rotary Central and the Alex Panton Foundation. Rotary opens opportunity.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamt Motors on Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers. Appliances, dishware, bulk foods, and so much more. With huge savings. Ropers is stocked for your hurricane supplies. Don't cut back on your needs. Cut back on your spending with Ropers. Your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers Enterprises. 122 Industrial Way. Call 949-2511. Clean up your spending with Ropers. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Mr. Mario Ebanks, who's a candidate in the electoral district of West Bay West. He was nominated on the last Monday, the 1st of March. The elections are scheduled to be held on the 14th of April as well. So, Mr. Mario, not many people put themselves forward as candidates who have the wealth and the breadth of experience that you've had in terms of working in government and outside of government. And you have had the opportunity to have a bird's eye view of what is right, what is wrong, and sometimes you have been involved in making the corrections as well. So that, of course, that experience, of course, will have some impact on your manifesto and the agenda items that you have identified that need to be addressed in the Cayman Islands.
Yes,
Can you speak to those?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I want to also give a shout out to all the young people out there, new voters in West Bay West and elsewhere, and also a lot of the fantastic new candidates in this election. A lot of very intelligent, good young people that are willing to serve and ready to serve. I want to just encourage all of them. And I also want to give a shout out for today, 8th of March, being International Women's Day. Mm-hmm. And I just want to give a shout out to all our ladies and women, mothers, wives, sisters, aunts, and others around the world and in the Cayman Islands, and in particular West Bay West. Thank you very much, ladies. We love you. Mr. Osi, to answer your question, yes, I have been fortunate to have been in government within the ministry, as you'll see from my little bio in the declaration statement, in the Ministry of Community Development, Sports, Youth and Culture in the mid-90s, and also a Director of Labour and Pensions, and I've served in a number of government boards as well as quasi-organizations, as well community organizations. And so there's a number of things I want to just briefly touch on in terms of my agenda for action, and in particular West Bay, and it is interesting that the incumbent for West Bay West has been there for 36 years, yet West Bay has no hurricane shelter or no civic center that we can call our own, that we can use for multipurpose facilities or for hurricanes. So after 36 years, we have no hurricane shelter or multipurpose civic center in West Bay. After 36 years, minimum wage is still at $6 CI per hour. But yet he wants 4 more years. We have Caymanians marginalized in the workplace and no structure to help to bring them up and to provide the kind of incubation, development, and monitoring and enforcement. You were an outstanding Chief Immigration Officer. You've been in the front lines, but you also know that civil servants can't do a lot of things if they don't have the resources and the systems. And the politicians and the Finance Committee provides that kind of support in the budget process and the annual plan. Caymanians are marginalized in the workplace. There's no technical or vocational training that is in the districts. There was something started at the University College or Community College when Mr. Benson Ebanks was the Minister of Education, and we tried to do some tweaking of that. But you remember government bought, and I believe that the current incumbent for West Bay West was in charge then when the John Silver's facility was bought in West Bay, and that was supposed to be a hotel training school and vocational center. That's really is a white elephant. It was bought, paid for with public funds, but is not being used for the purpose that it was supposed to be used for. So there's no technical or vocational training, but yet he's been there for 36 years and he wants 4 more years. The cost of living in this country is over the roof, and people are having a difficult time surviving. The cost of living question is a technical question which we can talk about in greater detail, but it is an issue that I have in my agenda to be tackled, and I can tell you how we hope to do that and get it done. Not just talk about it, but get it done. We believe about looking at the future, putting in place strategies, policies, building people around us, operationalizing all of these things and making them happen, and not just promises and excuses. We intend to get things done. We also believe that we need to have a proper investment and development strategy for this country. Gone are the days where we will be looking at short-term gain for long-term pain. We need to understand that Cayman Islands is a special place. We should be so thankful that we can be here at this time in history where the whole world is locking down. But we are, thanks to the government and the governor and the leadership and the United Kingdom and all of our stakeholders around the world for allowing us to do that. But we need to now take that opportunity to press the reset button, and let's see how we can build and grow from good to great. And I think we can do it, but we need to have less talk, less dirt, less throwing of mud, less tearing down people, and let's look at solutions. Let's build the country better for all of us. Caymanians are feeling helpless. They're losing hope. And if I am elected, I am going to work hard day in and day out, as I've always done, to make sure that we change that. We want to ensure that young Caymanians, Mr. O.C., have access to affordable housing and land. You know, if we're not careful, we're having it already. We'll have people that are living in small quarters. They're living and they can't afford to pay rent. They can't get access to land that they can build on, even small parcels. We have to have a strategy around that, and we need to do it. And government providing the housing is good, but we need to also set in place other strategies to ensure that people have access to affordable housing and affordable land. And the other area is that Caymanians in our own country, you know, and that's a recipe for disaster. So all of these things that are taking place that we should be concerned about, but yet, my friend, the incumbent for West Bay West, wants 4 more years. He doesn't want to be premier, he says. He doesn't want to be a minister, he says. He only wants to be a speaker. We need people who are going to go in there to work and work hard, have the vision, have the energy, have the goodwill to get these things done, because we got too much work to have somebody collecting huge salary and not working hard.
Okay, folks, we've reached the top of the hour. 8 o'clock news. When we return, the conversation with Mr. Mario Ebanks, a candidate in West Bay West in the upcoming general elections, will continue, and he will be prepared to take calls as well. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back after the news.
Thank you, Mr. Cloner. And studio time now by Foster's is 7:59.
It's freezing.
Well, yeah, it's Frozen Food Month at Foster's, and they're giving away 4 $250 Foster's cards. To enter, just purchase any 3 products from the frozen department from now until March 27th. Then enter online with your receipt.
So I could buy a frozen pizza for dinner, frozen berries for my morning smoothie, and those frozen plant-based sausages that you love?
Exactly. For more info, go to fosters.ky/Frozen Food Month. Foster's. Better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Caymanbrac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 30th of June 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpensions.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
For today's biggest news,
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Filming for a multi-film production project on Grand Cayman begins this week. Details from Radio Cayman's Shanda Gallego.
Beginning this week and over the next few months, a series of feature films will be filmed right here on Grand Cayman. Circumstances around the world with the global COVID-19 pandemic have hindered film producers for the past year. Cayman has attracted the attention of William Sander and the team at Productivity Media as the location where film production could take place in a safe and sophisticated environment. A press release from the Ministry of International Trade, Investment, Aviation and Maritime Affairs says Santor has worked extensively with the ministry during the past few months, along with the Film Commission, Workforce Opportunities and Residency Cayman, and Customs and Border Control to arrange and facilitate a multi-film production deal between Productivity Media and Darius Films. A fourth film will be produced between Productivity Media and Balcony 9. The cast and crew have complied with government's stringent and mandatory quarantine and testing measures that have stopped community transmission of SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, in the 3 Cayman Islands. While on island, they will be building local capacity and expertise by hiring local Caymanians to train and develop their skills with practical hands-on experience. Welcoming the producers, cast and crew, the ministry's chief officer Eric Bush says he is delighted that the Cayman Islands has become a true contender in the highly competitive arena of global film production. This multi-film project will contribute immensely to Cayman's growing film industry. Officials say work on the first film, Blue Iguana, gets underway this week. Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
And the Deputy Governor's Awards program is making its return this year. It's expected that January Employee of the Month will be announced soon, along with the Chief Officer's Choice awardees. The program also sees a new element, Team Awards, which is set to begin with awards for 2020 to recognize the many ways that civil servants worked across silos and created moments of magic last year during the COVID emergency. Nominations for Team Awards will open next week. In regional news, Guyana received 80,000 doses of the Covishield Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine from India on Sunday. The vaccines arrived at the Chetty Jagan International Airport on Sunday morning and were received by the Prime Minister and others. According to India's High Commissioner to Guyana, India does not expect anything from Guyana in return. As part of its Vaccine Maritime initiative, India has been donating thousands of Covishield vaccine doses to countries across the world. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Justine Green. The main opposition party in Britain has called for the royal family to investigate an allegation of racism made in a US television interview with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. In the interview, Prince Harry and his wife Meghan said concern had been expressed by a member of the royal household about how dark the skin of her first baby might be. President Biden's special envoy on climate, John Kerry, is in London, beginning a push by the new US administration to strengthen international action on global warming. On taking office, Mr. Biden immediately reversed the policy of Donald Trump by ensuring the US rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement. The security forces in Myanmar have killed at least 3 more people protesting against last month's military coup. Witnesses said 2 of the protesters died in the northern city of Myitkyina after the police opened fire. Iran has welcomed the Pope's first ever visit to Iraq, which ended earlier today. A spokesman for the Iranian Foreign Ministry said the visit was very good and the meeting between Pope Francis and the influential Shia cleric Ali al-Sistani had been constructive. A media watchdog in Afghanistan says more than 300 women journalists and media workers have left their jobs due to security threats in the past 6 months. The figures represent almost a fifth of the total female workforce in the Afghan media. The British food delivery firm Deliveroo has announced plans for its listing on the London Stock Exchange. The company is expected to be valued at more than $7 billion, despite never making a profit. Proceedings begin today in connection with one of the most significant police trials in U.S. history over the killing of George Floyd last May in Minneapolis. A jury will be selected for the trial of Derek Chauvin, a white officer accused of second-degree murder. After Mr. Floyd's death, which was filmed by a bystander, there were weeks of unrest across the U.S. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
We, as Caymanians, live by our choices and by using our voice to bring about change. On April 14th, Cayman and Georgetown West holds the power to turn the page to a more hopeful, more empowered chapter in our country's leadership. My fellow Caymanians, my name is Perlina Magal-Lumsden, and I'm proud to be your candidate for Georgetown West. I hope that you will join our movement and use your voice to vote for me, a candidate that will work tirelessly to put you, your families, your education, your employment, and our environment first.
Commencement at the University College of the Cayman Islands is being moved to spring in line with more traditional practices in other countries. The spring date will allow graduating students to be part of the university's celebration of their accomplishments. UCCI's 2021 commencement ceremony will be on Saturday, 24th April 2021, 7:30 p.m. at Sir Vassal Johnson Hall. Application deadline for graduating students to apply for graduation will be on Friday, 12th of March 2021. For all of the information on commencement 2021 and to access the graduation form, you can visit www.ucci.edu.ky/graduation.
The 8:10 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 78 degrees. Relative humidity is 79%. The barometric pressure 30.08 inches and rising. The wind is out of the northeast at 18 knots. And the overnight low temperature was 74 degrees. Synopsis indicate brief passing showers along with fresh to strong northeasterly winds and rough seas will continue across the Cayman area as a stationary front lingers over the area and its associated high-pressure system to build over the eastern United States. Radar images show scattered showers in and around the Cayman area moving southwest. Now, the forecast for today and tonight calling for cloudy skies with a 60% chance of brief passing showers. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s today and will fall to the low 70s tonight. Winds will be northeast at 25 to 30 knots, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 7 to 9 feet. Marine warning remains in effect for today and tonight as well. Today's low tide will occur this afternoon at 1:24, high tide this evening at 6:24. The sun will set this evening at 6:32 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:39. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Wednesday morning.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Sound Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking, change your life. Staying focused on your long-term goals is crucial.
As motivational speaker and author Mel Robbins said in her book titled The 5-Second Rule, it's a numbers game. To play any game, you have to start. To win, you need to keep going. If you want to make your dreams come true, get ready for the long game. Life is not a one-and-done sort of deal. You've got to work for what you want. Life is gritty and hard, and then suddenly it's brilliant and amazing.
Change your thinking, change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Top of the morning to you. Let's take a look at what's happening on our roads. Heavy traffic coming from the east on Shamrock Road and Rex Crichton Boulevard, as well as on the Linford Pearson Highway. Traffic is heavy. Delays expected as you're heading down to Georgetown. You're going to get there. And coming off of Linford Pearson Highway as well on Agnes Way, traffic is busy. And busy traffic off of Bobby Thompson Way as we look to the Butterfield roundabout heading towards the Industrial Park area. Traffic is steady but flowing into Georgetown on Sheridan Road. Not looking too bad as traffic flowing nicely. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic is flowing at a good pace. Steady traffic on Huldah Avenue. Cool Road, some sections steady, other sections moderate. And traffic is steady but flowing on the Westby Road, especially in front of the Ritz. And traffic moving at a good pace on Owen Roberts Drive. If you've seen accidents or incidents on Cayman's roads, give us a call here at Radio Cayman, 949-6990. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another traffic report. And remember, click it or ticket. Drive safe, Cayman Islands.
Things just got a bit hotter on island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
With Logic, you get more things you do want, like faster fiber internet, more TV, entertainment, and better customer service. And you get less of the things you don't want, like waiting, boredom, and disappointment. More of the good, less of the bad. It just makes sense. Or should I say, it's logical. See what I did there? Call us or go to logic.ky to find out how you could be getting way more of what's good.
That thing we've been saying for 64 years, ignore it. Eat the KFC wings, drink the KFC gravy, fill up on fries. Just please forget the thing we normally suggest. You know, that thing you used to do with your tongue after finishing a delicious piece of our KFC chicken. We get it. It's not easy. There's a reason why it's been our slogan for over half a century. But the world's drastically changed of late, and as soon as we can embrace the change, the sooner we can all get back to doing what we do best. KFC. It's good.
The Cayman Islands Seafarers Association would like to inform all members that there will be a quarterly social on Tuesday, 16 March at 7 p.m. in the Seafarers Hall, 11 Victory Avenue, Prospect. Transportation will be provided for the meeting. 3 buses will leave from the West Bay Town Hall at 6 p.m. The Barnes bus route in Georgetown leaves the public library parking area at 6:45, stopping at the Cayman Compass building and the airport Fosters. The bus marked Bobo $1 public transport and is blue in color will do pickups from British Caymanian and Uncle Bill's on Eastern Avenue, Walkers Road, Shedden Road, and then Crew Road. The bus from East End will do pickups from the primary school parking lot, the gas station, and wreck of the 10 Sails starting at 5:45. North Side bus pickups are at the Chisholm store and the soccer field starting at 6:15. Boddentown pickups are at Lorna's gas station at 6:45 and Savannah pickups are at gas station next to Wendy's at 7 p.m. Remember, the CISA Quarterly Social is on Tuesday, March 16th at 7 p.m. in the Seafarers Hall.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, a paid slot on For the Record, Mr. Mario Ebanks, who's a candidate in the electoral district of West Bay West in the upcoming April 14th general elections. Before I hand the mic back over to Mr. Ebanks, one of our listeners has written in and said, good morning, Mr. Ebanks, great program, said Mr. Ebanks. As a man of great conviction, I think you are truly a great speaker and pastor. So just wanted to pass those words over to you as well.
Thank you very much. I'm not a pastor, but I'm happy to be called one. At least I have a pastoral feel, and which is now the public arena, which I hope to have the same values that I've always had when operating with people privately or publicly. Mm-hmm. I want to say a couple of quick things. One is about candidates who are treating people. Treating is something under the elections law, which, as you know, Mr. Connor, you were a deputy supervisor of elections, I believe, and mm-hmm. you know the penalties in the law in relation to treating. Treating means giving people money or other gifts in exchange for their vote. And some candidates, I understand, in West Bay, not myself, not Ms. Cathy Wilkes, as I know for sure, and others as well, but there's some, particularly the incumbents, one incumbent in particular in his group, where they're paying people to be their agents or for doing other favors. Now, I assume you could pay people to help you, but you have to declare that in your expenses. But in terms of treating, they're using it to say, well, you do this, and I also want your vote. And so I want to just encourage people, whether they get gifts or whatever, that they have to be very careful with it, because people may come to me and ask for certain things, but as a candidate, I can't do it because it's illegal, and especially as a candidate. And so I want to just mention that paying people to be agents and whatnot will have to be declared. The other thing I want to talk about is the news that came out in the local Compass and elsewhere last week about the new hotel that's being built near the public beach in West Bay Road and near the Kimpton Hotel, a new hotel called Indigo. And that hotel is near area where I call the Berlin Wall that was constructed last year. But it is an area, Mr. Orrit and listeners, that is the grass area that is right adjacent to the bypass road, where the old public beach used to be and where the entrance to the Governor's Harbour used to be. And that was designated in the NRA agreement, the National Roads Authority agreement, that my opponent, Mr. McKeever, was very much involved in when he was in charge of the government. And they had this agreement, and the DART group were supposed to designate areas there for playground, and that grassy area was supposed to be an area for camping. Because you remember Caymanians are notorious, Easter in particular, for camping on the beaches, right? And the public beach, the old public beach, used to be an area for camping, and other areas in West Bay Road and Rum Point and Barkers and everywhere used to be an area for camping. And the DART people under the NRA agreement said that, no, you can't camp on the beach anymore. We're going to designate areas for playground for children, but also a campground. Now, that area that was supposed to be the campground for West Bayers, and people from West Bay and West Bay West, listen carefully, that was the area that was put there in replacement of the beach area for people to go camping on Easter. Easter is soon coming. Okay. And people are going to be here in the island because they can't travel, and I'm sure they're going to want to do more camping. But if you drive along the bypass now, you'll see a major construction development being planned there. You'll see earthworks already being done. And that land that they promised you, that Mr. Bush promised you, that the current government promised you, that was going to be part of the DART NRA agreement for camping, was resumed to hotel and tourism. And now that is lost for people to go camping or public open space. I say shame, shame, shame. And it is another example of headlong development with no regard for environment, no regard for the people. And it makes me wonder whether this plan of 100,000 people population, we're going to be more non-Caymanians than Caymanians, this is not the march forward with that. And as Paul Keynes Douglas say, we're at the edge of a precipice and going to make one bold step forward. And we have to stop this kind of thing. Now, this is ridiculous. We can't stop the project because the government and planning has approved the project last week. And if you read the article in the Compass last week, you'll see the kind of stuff that's happening with planning and with government, with these large developers. The DART group seems to get whatever they want, and no regard for due process, it seems, and no regard for public consultation, it seems. And this kind of thing, Mr. OC and the listening public, this kind of behavior, this kind of disregard for the public and for public interest, it will get people incensed, will get people riled up, and if we don't be more sensitive to the needs of the people and to sustainable growth management, this country is going to become people are going to behave recklessly. And I think that it is wrong, and shameless that the government allowed this after saying that DART would be giving this for campground. The third point I want to make is that in Mr. McKeever and his team's public meeting last week, Monday, I think it was. They were making a lot of rhetoric and throwing a lot of mud around already, which I don't intend to do. But I want to respond to public record and respond to facts. And he was referring to a comment about taxation, and one of another citizen of West Bay had written something on his Facebook page about taxes and income tax, etc.
Okay.
And Mr. McKeever and his political wisdom tried to dump down on my shoulder that that was my position. That's not my position. Mr. McKeever is running against Mario Ebanks, not against Troy Leacock or anybody else. Now, I do believe that we need to have proper environmental impact fees and proper infrastructure impact fees for large developments and developers coming in. That was put in place by the government that was that Mr. Truman Bodden, Mr. Tom Jefferson, Mr. Benson Ebanks, Honorable Mr. Norman Bodden, and those put in place those kind of planning proposals and plans and fees so that we could build our infrastructure. Some of that has been watered down now. I believe that we need to look at that again and bring that back so that we can develop the country sustainably, but we can also provide roads, social services, education, environmental protection, all those things that we get from development impact fees from people who are coming in here, rather than giving these sweetheart deals with concessions and breaks in terms of import duties and other duty rebates.
And you also see that as helping to narrow that wide disparity that we have, the gap in terms of the haves and the have-nots.
Definitely,
well?
Sir. Definitely. Thank you very much. And that's right. But the thing about it is that we have Cayman is not tax-free, you know. We had to realize that we have probably an effective tax of probably 30-35% when you look at all of the import duties that we have to pay, all the fees and whatnot. And so we're I know there's a caller who calls into the radio show talking about income tax, and I always ask him, well, if you bring income tax, are you going to reverse all the other taxes? Then you can't have it. You can't have both. Otherwise, you have a 70% tax, which would be ridiculous. So internationally, we are regarded as tax-free, but we're not tax-free. But I am not in favor of income tax. I want to remind Mr. McKeever Bush of that. But I'm in favor of development, infrastructure, environmental impact fees, that we can provide infrastructure and protect our environment, not just for this generation, but for generations yet unborn.
Okay. Excellent. We'll take a commercial break, folks. When we return, the conversation with Mr. Mario Ebanks, a candidate in the upcoming April 14th general elections. He's a candidate in the electoral district of West Bay West. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
There's nothing like the smell of freshly baked bread. The warm, inviting aroma, the fresh and natural taste. Just like homemade. 100% all-natural, additive-free bread.
Enjoy fresh and natural tasting bread from the iconic Caribbean Bakery. Always delivered fresh to your favorite supermarkets island-wide. Forget the imported frozen and thawed and enjoy our freshly baked selection of quality breads and pastries.
Try our classic white and wheat sandwich breads, coconut and raisin breads, hamburger and hot dog buns, and a great selection of pastries. Feed your family fresh with Caribbean Bakery.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman will be holding a prostate and colon cancer awareness meeting at the Webster United Memorial Church Hall in Bordentown on Monday, 8th March, starting at 7 p.m. Free PSA testing will be available along with a presentation by guest speaker Dr. Solomon. For more information on prostate and colon cancer awareness, join the Lions Club of Grand Cayman on Monday, March 8th, 7 p.m. at Webster United Memorial Church Hall in Bordentown.
It is truly important to our country that the voices of all the people in the Cayman Islands are heard on Election Day. Your vote counts.
April 14th, 2021.
Exercise your democratic right and vote. A public service announcement from your #1 community station, Radio Cayman.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, Mr. Mario Ebanks, a candidate in the upcoming April 14th general elections. He's a candidate in the electoral district of West Bay West. We do have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Do you have a question or comments for Mr. Ebanks?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Robert speaking here. Good morning, Ebanks. To the candidate now, I'm curious, what you plan to do with the pension? So you was involved with that, right? And the next question, we contemporary in modern times, we plan to do with the herbs. I knew you got zero tolerance against that. Now pick it on you.
Okay.
We plan to do that in modern times.
Okay.
Good luck with the gentleman.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. Mr. Ebanks?
First of all, the question of pension, yes, you're right. I was one of the people that was involved with the national pension legislation when it was brought in the late 90s, working with the then Minister for Community Development and also the Pension Plan Advisory Committee, which I was the secretary. So we put together the legislation and the regulations. And about a year or two after, I moved off into another role. And so the pension structure got going and really was not properly resourced. But what I plan to do with it, if I am elected, is to a number of things. First of all, look at proper regulations for the National Pension Investment regulations in particular. Look at getting proper resources for the department. And I also have a plan, which I'll talk about in my manifesto, to provide synergies between the National Pensions Office and the Public Service Pension Board. And this show doesn't allow me to talk in detail about that. Mm-hmm. But we have a plan to do much better because we don't have income tax. So pensions is really the only thing that people have to rely on. The government in the COVID relief effort caused about $455 million to be removed from private sector pensions, which was useful in a sense because the government didn't have to provide that kind of help for the community. It wasn't the best thing for long-term pensions, but so we have a plan to make sure that we strengthen it, improve the resources, and also to ensure that people can have retirement security as best as possible. And please keep watching what we're going to do and talking about it because we have a plan, and we'll definitely outline that in due course. In regard to your question about weed meaning marijuana, and I guess you mean recreational marijuana. We do allow in the country now. We do allow medical marijuana. Mm-hmm. In regard to recreational marijuana, again, I'll talk about this more in our public meetings and in our manifesto. You're right. I do have concerns about it personally, and my view is that there are people that are first offenders, and if they're first offenders with a small amount of marijuana, I'm not in favor of them losing their hope in life, and they can't get employment, and they're sent to prison for that. I think we need to look at that carefully. But in regard to legalizing it, my position is this: I would only do anything beyond what we have now after serious open public consultation, and that may also include a public referendum. That's my position at the moment, although more details are going to be coming out as we march on with this campaign.
Okay. Do you have a position now on decriminalizing ganja?
Right. Well, again, my position is that for people who are arrested for the first time with marijuana recreational use, and if it's not obviously to do with health reasons or medically prescribed, that they would not have. They would not have the danger of being in prison or losing getting a bad police record or being compromised from getting employment. I know there's plenty of young men in West Bay and West Bay West that have that issue. We're going to work with them. We're going to make sure that we can't open this thing up wide because, there are many people who come from other countries to work in Cayman that marijuana is legal there. So when they come here, we have an issue where the demand for marijuana and other substances.
Huge market.
Huge market. And it's because the demand is there. They come in because they're used to having it at home. So you think they're going to come here and stop cold turkey? No, they want it here too. So we have to deal with the issue. But I don't think this small country with a Christian heritage can open the floodgates for everything that comes our way either. We have to make sure that our people rights are respected as well. We also have rights under the Constitution. But my thing is that it has public consultation has to be happening and may even be a proper public referendum on the issue.
Okay. We have another caller, Mr. Ebanks. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Mario.
Good morning, Lion.
I listen to you on the radio here.
Oh yeah. This is Mr. Marion. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm listening to your comments on the hotel and the infrastructure situation here, and it's becoming a very worrying situation to me as an indigenous Caymanian, because I don't know where we're going to soon put all these people on 50,000 acres of land. So we have to sustain this development and find a way to keep a balance. It's pretty easy to do. There are things I could sit there and talk to you all day long, but I'll talk to some other time.
Right.
And marijuana, the UN already decriminalized that. So I don't know why it's not decriminalized here yet, but aren't we a part of the UN? If we're a part of Great Britain, I would think we're part of the UN. And we got too many children going to jail for 1 and 2 spliffs in their pocket and losing their jobs and all that through it. And basically, I always say to myself that about alcohol. Alcohol has destroyed more people than any other drug in the world. It's processed, number one. It makes a fortune, number two. And it's several different types of it. You understand? And you got different grades of marijuana too. But at the same time, it's a natural tree, put enough by God. Yeah. So we got to do something about dealing with that instead of locking these people up all the time, and they can't get a job because they took a urine test and can't get a job. You understand? I got sons too. Now, a lot of us got kids that use it, and there's nothing you can do about it. You understand?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. I hear you. And as I said earlier, we're going to look at it very, very seriously. We're going to look at the impact on young people, the impact on the society, and make sure whatever is done is equitable and is the right thing for the country. So we'll talk about that later, my friend. But thank you for your support and your input. And please keep the ideas coming forward. I know you got a lot of good support in West Bay as well. Talk to your family down there in West Bay West. Thanks to all those people who have called me and who say that they're praying for me and who are speaking to voters in West Bay West. I encourage you to do the same thing, because none of this can be done unless I and other people who are like-minded get elected on 14th of April.
Certainly. Okay, we want to thank that caller. Mr. Ebanks, let's look at some of your agenda for action initiatives. And there's one that I believe resonates with a lot of people here in the Cayman Islands, probably not only in your the constituency in which you are running, but throughout the island as well. And it says that we will commission a comprehensive review and overhaul of all employment-related legislation, including immigration, labor, and pensions, as well as immediately mobilize the Minimum Wage Advisory Committee. Within an early time horizon, we will ensure that a proper plan for the succession of willing and able Caymanians to key positions in both the public and private sector, while at the same time providing security of tenure for non-Caymanians without creating a stranglehold on the neck of future generations.
Yes, that's taken directly from my declaration statement, and I thank you for reading it. And yes, now, one of the things that I want to do to cover that area is that when you say a comprehensive review, that means that we're going to look at the Department of Labor and look at work and see how we can combine the functions. Because right now, the Department of Labor and Pensions doesn't have the resources it needs to do its work. And make it even worse if you add pensions to it. And so we have a plan to do a review of pensions and labor, but combine the labor part with the work department and create a human capital development authority, an authority that is independent and has a specific mission, and they're focused on that mission. The other thing to keep in mind is that immigration, or right now the work group, is really nothing more than a rename, because I don't think that they're really given the resources and remit and the tools to really do the job that they're asked to do. And I have been advocating for years, based on the Vision 2008 strategic plan for a Human Resources Authority. You know that from time you were in Immigration Department. What I am concerned about and disappointed in is that our current Premier, the Honourable Alden McLaughlin, started his career in public service as a labour officer, a labour inspector. But yet, many years later, the issue of labour and the issue of training and the issue of human capital development, he really has not been a leader in that area. That's the area that I want to lead in.
Area of expertise.
I want to lead in that area, because if we don't create the opportunities and the structures for young Caymanians to move up in the private and public sector to where they should be, there's no future for us. And that's the area that I want to lead in, and I promise that that's going to be a priority. And Mr. Premier, stand by, sir. Action is here. Help is on the way.
Okay, we do have one caller. I think we will make that the final call, because we're going to take a commercial break after. And then when we return, I want to give you an opportunity for closing comments as well. How many callers we have, Ms. Susan? 2? Okay, let's see if we can squeeze both of those in if you want, Mr. Mario.
Once they're quick, yeah.
Okay, we're going to ask the callers to please be as quick as possible. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
I just wanted to make a quick call, too, to say that for the past 4 years, while the West Bay West MLA at that time was appointed as Speaker, we have had absolutely no representation in West Bay West. I would have thought that a responsible leader would have formed a district committee that would involve citizens from all groups, not just his own supporters, if there was such a thing, because if there was such a thing, I never heard of it, or they certainly never canvassed the opinion of the residents in the constituency, and nothing like that was done. And on the comment on the point of pension and labor, I concur entirely. It is atrocious to hear what is going on in some of the workplaces that are crying for inspection. Not only inspection of facilities, but inspection of proper inspection of conditions and the treatment meted out to some local employees that are perhaps at first don't exactly fit the mold of somebody coming from Slovakia or Bulgaria or Romania. And so I am welcoming the possibility of a change, and I hope it'll happen. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Ozzy. How are you doing today?
Fine, sir. Thank you. Good to hear from you. Thank you.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. And nice to hear your voice there. And I think you got some good directions to point the country in and see that something is done. And we're hoping that that we will be able to organize a meeting Wednesday night at Papagallo Restaurant, Papagallo, if we get the permission. And this is going to be a real important meeting. As OC know, we had before the West Bay Action Committee. And this time we intend to go through with that and get something done, because things are absolutely out of control. The development and other things that is nothing less than frightening. So, we're just hoping that we get the restaurant, and then we're going to come to the wider public and let them know what's going on about the meeting. All right? So,
thank you.
Good luck and have a pleasant day. Thank you.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you very much, Carl.
I plan to attend that meeting if at all possible.
We one more caller has snuck in, Mr. Ebanks. I think the phone lines are getting hot now. While we're getting ready to close off. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Please be as brief as possible.
Good morning to you, OC, and good morning to Mario.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
I just picking up on one point that Mario made earlier. And Mario, for the record, just Gillard McLaughlin, I got total respect for you. I'm not going to hide behind an anonymous name.
I know the voice, man. I know the voice.
You made mention of the fact that people were being paid for polls in Judas or something of that effect. I happen to be on Ralston Anglin committee, and I'm proud to be on this committee as well. And I can tell you for the record that none of us is surely being paid to do anything. This is all voluntary, and I don't know about anybody else, but I know the West Bay Committee, which consists of Captain Eugene McKeever and Ralston, no services are being paid for by any of those candidates to their committee members. These are dedicated committee members. So I just want to let that, because I don't want nobody, when they see me out there on election day, to assume that I'm being paid for any duties that I'm involved in. I just wanted to set that straight, because I too have pride,
Thank you very much. All I said, Gillard, was that if people are being given gifts because they're not employed, for example, that it should be declared as part of the expenses. So if they're being paid, there's nothing to be ashamed about, but it has to be declared, because we all have a budget to work with under the law, and we have to abide by it. If you're going to be leaders, we have to not just talk, but walk the talk as well. So that's all I'm saying. Thank you very much, Gillard. Have a good day, brother.
Okay. So one final question that has been posed in writing, and that has to do with you running as an independent candidate, and what is your position in terms of, if you are elected, whether you will support a coalition government or you will just simply sit as an independent?
Generally, I believe in the party apparatus. I was a member of the PPM. My brother George actually kind of inveigled me to join I think it was around about 2003, maybe it was. And I was a member I rose as high as first vice chairman of the party. Okay. And when I got into ministry in 2012 as a director of labour and pensions, obviously I had to step back, and I became inactive from 2010, I think it was. But I am an independent. I have no connection with the PPM. I have no connection with the Progressives. I have no connection with the CDP. I have no connection with the Cayman Islands party that Mr. Ezra is involved in. I'm an independent. But obviously we have to work together. We have to find a way of running the country. And I can only remember, there's a book that was written about President Abraham Lincoln. It's called Team of Rivals. It's an excellent book. I read it. And so we need to find a way of working together. And as this campaign moves on, we'll see people's positions and people who are like-minded.
That's Kearns Goodwin that wrote that book?
Yes. Exactly. Beautiful book. Fantastic book. Yeah. Team of Rivals. It's about pulling people together from different convictions and different parties and making great things happen. And we can do that here too. But we've got to have people who are credible, who are ethical, who are working for the country and not for themselves, and people who have the energy and the foresight and to work with people. So if I'm elected, before I'm elected, we'll put together these alliances or frameworks. And I believe in doing things publicly and not hiding behind anything. So if it comes to the point where we can announce who that group may be, we'll do that. But it's too early to go there at the moment.
Okay. Now, Mr. Mario, I know that we have other bookings scheduled for you. We have just barely touched on, a lot of the initiatives that you have and the positions that you have. But let me give you an opportunity for some closing comments.
Thank you very much, Mr. Connor. You're a very good host, and I appreciate this, and I appreciate all those who've listened in Cayman and around the world. I want to just share my email address. My personal email address, which I've had for the last 20 plus years, is Premier, P-R-E-M-I-E-R, at candw.ky. But the campaign email address is Mario Ebanks, WBW2021 at gmail.com. We also have social media, and the Facebook page is Mario, the number 4, WBW, so Mario for West Bay West. People can give me a call on my cell, 916-1144. My home number is 945-2726. And if people need to speak to me, as the many of them are doing, before I get to see them, they're obviously welcome to call or reach out to me. And I'm also on the road and knocking on doors, and I'll be doing more of that.
And a public meeting schedule?
Public meetings are scheduled. We have a committee meeting this week, and we'll firm things up for a meeting next week, and also one the following week. But we're going to get everything nailed down before we actually disclose it publicly. So we are having a community meeting and also a rally very soon indeed. So it's going to happen. I believe that it's going to be a tough battle, but I think it's time. It's time, West Bay West, for a new, prepared and experienced member of Parliament to represent you. It's time for you to elect someone who you can be proud of, someone who will always be an exemplary role model. Our campaign will not engage in mudslinging or character assassination. We're all about solutions, ideas, and looking forward to a better Cayman for everyone. And if I am elected, I will serve the people of West Bay West, all the people, even though they may not vote for me, a few of them that choose not to. I'm going to represent everybody, and I believe we can work together to build a better Cayman. And West Bay West, it's time. I implore you, consider me, pray about it, and on 14th of April, let's make a positive change in West Bay West. I thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Connor. And when we come back the next time, we'll continue the agenda for action, which we're developing and which has been put out in my initial declaration statement.
Certainly, and thank you for being here. And again, congratulations on your nomination as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after headline news at 9 o'clock, so please stay tuned.
The preceding was a paid political broadcast. Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road. Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today, it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts Parts Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000 Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000. April 14th, 2021 is Election Day in the Cayman Islands.
Running for political office is no easy feat. You need to be everywhere, all of the time.
Now is the time to get your important messages out to the voting public.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, has always been there for incumbents and future candidates alike. Whether you want to get your political commercials or infomercials on air, make in-house studio appearances, or have your district meetings broadcast live to the listening audience.
Set a time today to meet with one of our knowledgeable Radio Cayman sales account executives who have their fingers on the pulse of the community.
Call them today on 949-7799 or email rcsales@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, we've been in the community for just about 45 years. That means something.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio at this point in time. You heard the interview with Mr. Mario Ebanks, candidate for West Bay West in the upcoming general elections. We'll share more with you about the election schedule and the news later on. What I would like to cover with you at this point in time has to do with the COVID-19 update, the latest one for the 5th of March, 2021, where the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. John Lee, reported that 331 COVID-19 tests had been carried out since it was last reported on Thursday. There were three positives. The individuals are travelers, who tested positive following routine screening. They will remain in isolation until considered recovered. Ministry of Health has conducted spot checks and contacted the originating laboratories for the Ministry of Health has conducted spot checks and contacted the originating laboratories for some COVID-19 PCR test results presented by incoming travelers. No irregularities have been found to date. The number of persons in isolation at a government facility or at their homes, as required by the medical officer for health, was not available at that time. That was put out as well. And so far, 17,702, which represents 27% of the estimated population, have received at least one dose of the Pfizer vaccine, and a total number of COVID-19 vaccines administered to date was at 26,580. We do have a caller, but we're going to ask that caller to please hold on. We have to do our headline news, which is very quick. As soon as we return from headline news, we will take your call, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 331 COVID-19 tests on Friday. 3 came back positive. All travelers in isolation who were tested during part of routine screening. As of Friday, more than 26,500 vaccines have been administered locally. At least 17 people have been killed and more than 400 injured in a series of explosions at a military base in Equatorial Guinea. They said Sunday's blast in the main city were caused by stubble burning by farmers and negligence in the storage of dynamite at the base. Almost all buildings and homes in the city suffered, quote, huge damage, according to the president. State television showed people looking for survivors in the rubble. And billionaire Mackenzie Scott has married a science teacher at her children's school 2 years after her divorce from Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Ms. Scott is one of the world's richest women and has given away more than $4 billion of her fortune. The news of her marriage was revealed via the Giving Pledge philanthropy website. She's worth around $53 billion, according to Forbes' most recent estimate, and she has stated her intention to give away the majority of it. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We do have a caller on hold still, Miss Susan. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C. I'll try to make it short. I'm sure that you heard praise for the governor, the premier, Minister of Health, Chief Medical Officer, and I would like to add my congrats to them because I think they did a good job. But we must not forget that what was accomplished was due to residents of these islands following safe protocol and trying to get vaccinated. So we should not forget our Caymanians when we start, throwing out the roses. Because if we had not obeyed safe protocol, certainly what was accomplished would not have been accomplished. Thank you very much.
Before you go, caller, we have a little time, so I don't want you to go too quickly. We noticed, and this was one of the things that we didn't mention with Mr. Mario Ebanks this morning, and certainly the next interview that I have with him, I will raise it. We noticed some of our candidates and politicians are in the forefront when it comes to encouraging persons to be vaccinated. And at the same time, we have some of them who are relatively quiet. The silence is deafening when it comes to the COVID vaccine. This vaccine is really one of the final phases, to us successfully battling COVID-19. Do you feel the same way that I feel, or get the same appearance that we don't have as many politicians out there on their platforms talking about staying safe? They're having their public meetings. We're not completely out of the woods with this COVID-19 situation. How many of them are actually speaking to and encouraging people to get the vaccine?
You're right on. You're right on. And let me say, I was called by, I guess, one of the civil servants and asked, because of my age, being 88, they said, I hope that you have taken the vaccine. I said, yes, I did. I took both 1 and 2, and I would like to encourage all Caymanians to take the vaccine because you're making a choice between life and a lot of times death if you're contracted COVID-19. Shortly after I spoke to that lady, I opened my computer and I had an email from Cleveland Clinic. And I wanted to try to forward it to that person, but because of some mix-up with something on the computer I did not. But you know, they were telling me, be sure that you go and get vaccinated. Mm-hmm. That is important, and especially at your age. And try to encourage all of your friends to do the same, because we are doing our best here, pass the word along, to get the vaccine, and we hope that all others who have taken it have proven that, you know, they've done the right thing. They did not get all of that sick. I can say, with my experience, I took it number 1, 21 days later I took number 2, and I'll share this for what it's worth. 4 hours after I took the second, I took 2 Tylenol. 4 hours later, I took 2 more Tylenol, and Ms. Dorsey, I had no problems. Now, Tylenol is, for me, a good over-the-counter medication. It's recommended by every doctor that I've been to lately. If she said, you need to take something for pain, take Tylenol. So, yes, I agree with what you're saying or asking me. If I don't think that prospective candidates should be pushing and encouraging their constituents to get vaccinated. Mm-hmm. And so I hope that, I know that you have been doing it, and I hope that all the people that are working there, whenever they get a chance to stick it in, to say, go get the vaccine, because, like you rightly said, we are not out of the wood. I mean, our connection with Florida has been over hundreds of years, I guess. So we continue to have this close connection with Florida, and Florida is, one of the worst right now, because spring break and then the new outbreak with the new variant, I guess, and that is apparently more contagious than COVID-19. So for all of those out there who are, for whatever reason, waiting, I ask you to think not only of yourself, but your family and others. If you do not get vaccinated, then you could easily contract COVID-19. And for God's sake, don't let that happen. We have a good record so far, but we've not finished, and COVID is not over with. So please let us stay on track by taking the vaccine.
Thank you very much, Cap, for that. Thank you very much for that. And certainly, at your age, you're a testament and a good spokesperson for the vaccine process as well. Hopefully, we will get some figures before the show is over today in terms of the number of persons vaccinated. I did have a caller on Friday, I believe, who spoke about the number of persons who were queued up at Owen Roberts International Airport waiting to have the vaccine taken as well. We do know that the vast majority of persons are non-Caymanians as well, and we're trying to encourage more and more Caymanians to take the vaccine shot. You have heard me in the past talk about the fact that there was some anecdotal evidence that caregivers were influencing the elderly persons that they may be taken care of, and my encouragement to family members to ensure that they were active and involved in the decisions that were being made in relation to their elderly family members, as well. And we want to continue to encourage our those persons to be involved in their families' decisions as far as the COVID-19 situation is concerned. Sticking along those lines as well, I did share with you a notification that the supervisor of elections was looking into having arrangements in place for those persons who are in quarantine and whose names appear on the register of electors, for them to be able to cast their vote if they are still in quarantine on election day, and how they would qualify either for mobile voting or for postal ballots as well. And it appears as if that will be accomplished without the need for any legislative amendments to the elections law. Of course, it would be difficult or almost impossible, well, unless the legislature was reconvened to cover that period. But it is left in the capable hands of the supervisor of elections, as well as his management staff, to sort that situation out as well. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, OC. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm up at the farm here, enjoying the beautiful breeze.
Good. Lots of it this morning, huh? Good breeze this morning.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. It affecting the pear blossom a little bit, but that's part of nature. We can't do nothing but that. Yeah, well, OC, you know who it is, right?
Oh, yes, I know. That voice can't hide.
Well, I got caught in a ring, but anyhow, I am in the race. Hello?
Sure, I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of noise in the background with the breeze, though. We want to make sure that the audience can hear you as well.
How it sound now?
Much better.
Okay, yeah, my window was open now with the breeze. Yeah.
Okay.
So I tell you now, I got challenged, but I got normal things together. I got my agents done today, pick up my ballots and things, because it's an experience for me, the first time, you know.
So when you say you got challenged, what do you mean?
You know, to stop me from running.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then I got through it. Because, you know, look here, I know I got a police record, you know, I got LP at this and then so.
But there's nothing that disqualifies you from running for office or from being elected.
No. The gate is open for me. Yeah, the gate is open. And listen, man, I got to give it all I got, my brother. Because I bring up a lot of things, you know. Health insurance is one of my biggest issues. The costs have to go down. Training in schools. Listen, this about opening up training schools and all that. Make the people go on the construction site. You have to train these. You shall train these. That's my thing on it. And the cost of fuel and all of that thing. All of that right up on my top line. And of course, you know the gang to be there, right, OC?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I got to make the rest of them talk about it. Like I said on the Facebook show, and I mean this, it was the one that come out in public and say that they would support decriminalization, but I don't want that now. I want full legal. I want to get in the business. I want the Caymanians in this industry. And I'm saying it again, and I said it on Facebook. The rest of candidates that don't want to support the legalization for medical and recreation, they are part of the problem with the guns coming in from Jamaica, and they want it to be that way. They have no respect for their people and their country, because that's one way to stop it. You can't stop it altogether, but that would definitely slow it down. and the money would be staying here.
Good point. Good point. Good point.
And the lottery and casino, I am going full-fledged with that. That's where we can get money for health insurance and off of the marijuana industry. I want the tax that coming off of that, 50% of it has to go directly toward improving farming, scholarship for farming, helping farmers directly into farming. Since we are be serious about farming, let's be serious.
Okay. Now, Elvis, don't forget now you can buy commercial spots on Radio Cayman and elaborate on all of those things that you're talking about there as well. You know, we have some talented people here that can do some really, really good ads for you. But I must say to you very quickly before I go to the break that I have been receiving positive feedbacks about your interview. People are impressed. With your, abilities to speak and to articulate your views. And I say kudos to you, for that as well, Elvis.
Thank you very much for the compliment, man. We'll be in contact.
Okay. Take care, folks. We're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
There's nothing like the smell of freshly baked bread. The warm, inviting aroma, the fresh and natural taste. Just like homemade. 100% all-natural, additive-free bread.
Enjoy fresh and natural-tasting bread from the iconic Caribbean Bakery. Always delivered fresh to your favorite supermarkets island-wide. Forget the imported frozen and thawed, and enjoy our freshly baked selection of quality breads and pastries.
Try our classic white and wheat sandwich breads, coconut and raisin breads, hamburger and hot dog buns, and a great selection of pastries. Feed your family fresh with Caribbean Bakery.
Whether you're finishing a new condo, upgrading your rental property, or simply renovating, make Roper's Enterprises your first stop. Quality furniture at a fraction of the price. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Roper's, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Roper's Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Your home deserves a quality finish. Visit their showroom or shop online at ropers.ky. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Workforce Opportunities and Residency Cayman advises holders of permanent residency PR facilities to take immediate steps to settle any outstanding fees to avoid potential loss of this facility. Fees more than 90 days past due date should be paid immediately. Payments can be made via debit or credit cards, online payment using the Work Payment Portal, or via checks delivered to the Apollo House West Office on Mary Street. For PR holders needing further assistance, call Work Customer Care at 945-9672.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. A little scheduling mix-up, unfortunately. But we will get all those kinks ironed out soon as well. We do have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, well, see what you're saying. You all right?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, okay. Quick question. You can find out if you don't know it. When I took my my second vaccination and they gave me the card, it has an expiry date on it. Is it for a year, 6 months? What it is?
What is the date that is on yours? Does it have a date, or it just have a slot for expiry date?
No, well, it written the 5th of the 24th. So I trying to find out how that go. They just got 5/21/21. I don't know if it's a mistake or what it is, because I was thinking that it's supposed to last for a while. Can you?
Well, of course, sometimes some of these vaccines you have what you call a booster shot that may be required later on. There's been no indication that booster shots will be necessary so far, as far as the type of vaccine that is being used here and the COVID-19 situation. So I'm not sure what that expiry date is. Hopefully, someone is listening from the Health Services Authority may be able to help. Otherwise, I will try. I will try to get a response from Dr. Brown. We do have another caller, and that caller may have an answer to your question. So if you continue to listen, let's see what the other caller has to say. Okay? Okay. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. Yeah, we lost the caller. Hopefully that caller will call back as well. But if not, I will make some inquiries myself in that regard. So, Supervisor of the Elections Office, Supervisor of Elections, has spoken about those persons who are in quarantine or will be in quarantine when the poll is taken on the 14th of April of this year. One of the provisions in our elections law now is allows for the establishment of mobile polling stations. And for your reference, if you need it, Section 50 of the elections law, 2020 revision, mobile polling stations is subject to this section, where, and here are the conditions under which, or the criteria that would qualify you to vote at a mobile polling station, says that where an elector is unable or likely to be unable to go in person to the polling station because that person is or likely to be in a hospital, rest home, or other similar institution, or because that person is a geriatric at home. That is one way to qualify for mobile voting. If you stick to the specific language and it says hospital, those who are in quarantine are not really in a hospital. Rest home, those who are in quarantine are not really in a rest home. Question is whether or not being in quarantine can be interpreted as being similar to a rest home or a hospital. I'm not sure. Would need a Philadelphia lawyer to figure that one out as well. But that is one criteria. We have gotten that caller back, so I'm going to interrupt my train of thought here and go to the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning again, Elsie. Look, I was talking to myself, and I said, well, I'm not quite that old yet. But anyway, so what I was started off by saying, when I got my second vaccination, I noticed that there was a date relatively close to the vaccination date on the card. And I asked the nurse what that was for, and she informed me that date represents the expiry date of the drug, which was of the vaccine that was used on that particular day to vaccinate me. And the vaccine would have had to be used by that date or discarded. And that had nothing to do with the effectiveness of the vaccination or anything like that. It was merely a date that stated the vaccine that was used would have expired at that particular date that was stated on the card.
That seems logical. Yeah, that seems logical. Makes sense. Yes.
Okay, so that's all I have on that.
Want to thank you very much for that, caller. As you see, our listeners on Radio Cayman, they are well informed, pretty astute, and they're always willing to assist in passing on information when we don't necessarily have that information on our fingertips as well. I want to thank that listener and that caller for that as well. So you can qualify to vote using the mobile process if you are confined to a hospital, a rest home, or similar institution, or because you may be a geriatric at home. Also, a person may qualify by reason either of blindness or other physical incapacity to go in person to the polling station, or if able to go to vote unaided. So if they are suffering from a physical incapacity or blindness, then they qualify. Or if you need assistance in voting, if you go to the polls but you can't vote without the aid of someone else, you qualify for mobile voting as well. Also, if you're unable to go in person to the polling station because of the general nature of that person's occupation, service, or employment. So this may include police officers who may be involved in the election process on election day, possible those in the various government services, for instance, fire service, who may be on at work that day, despite the fact that your employer is required to give you time off to vote. It also includes election workers. For instance, if you are a presiding officer in one electoral district, but you vote in another electoral district, then you qualify for mobile voting. Now, if you are a presiding officer in the same electoral district in which you are registered to vote, you could possibly vote. But as most presiding officers would prefer to vote by mobile voting, because the mere optical of a person who's a presiding officer giving themselves a ballot paper, casting their vote and dropping it into the box while they're working as a presiding officer, the optics of that would not go. Those optics would not go over well with persons. So all election staff are encouraged to vote by mobile voting as well. So let me share more with you. So that if you fulfill any of those criteria, then you're allowed to vote by mobile voting. Says that elector is not entitled under Section 52 to vote as an absent voter. Right? Not. That elector is entitled to have that person's vote taken at a mobile station if, in the prescribed manner and within the prescribed time, that person applies to be treated as an absent elector voting at a mobile station and if that person's application is allowed by the registering officer under Section 53. So what that basically says is that last part is that you have to make an application to be treated as a mobile voter. That application as an absent elector, that application has to be considered by the registering officer, and if that application has been considered and once a decision is made, that decision is communicated to you, and you either will be treated as an absent voter and vote at a mobile polling station, or you would have to go in person to vote as well. Then here's how the ability to establish mobile polling stations is obtained. Section 50, subsection 2, supervisor. The supervisor, subject to the approval of the governor, may establish mobile polling stations for the purpose of this section, appoint persons to be members of a mobile polling team, and in respect of each team, appoint a person to be a team leader. Now, none of this is new to the election staff. They have been doing it, for some time. So they're quite familiar with it. The whole process is transparent. The ballots are secured and everything. Here's another responsibility of the supervisor. Supervisor may, by notice, publish in the Gazette, specify the place that will be visited by the mobile polling teams and the date and times of the visit of each such place as well. Time for us to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
Did you know the third most important factor for customer retention is cleanliness? With 95% of shoppers saying exterior appliance influences where they decide to shop. Keep your business clean with Roper's Janitorial. From offices to restaurants, interior and exterior, walls to rugs and flooring. Roper's cleans it all, including 24-hour emergency service. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511 or email janitorial@ropers.ky. Dress your business for success with Roper's Janitorial. We make your business shine. 949-2511. Roper's, providing products and services for better public health.
So, Gianna, how often have you been flossing? I see. And are you still working over at the daycare? Okay. How are your boys doing? Right. Now you just tell me if this hurts.
With 99% of medical claims paid in under 5 days, we're like a dentist that doesn't try to talk to you with your mouth full.
That's a doozy.
CG Britke. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. So earlier, I gave you some information in relation to mobile voting. Mobile voting is different than postal voting. And like I pointed out earlier, the supervisor of elections in speaking to those persons who are in quarantine, that they will either be able to qualify for mobile or for postal voting. So what does the law say in relation to postal voting? It says that subject to this section, where an elector, and this is important, where an elector is unable or likely to be unable to go in person to the polling station due to that person's absence for whatever reason outside the islands, right? And I'm going to read that again, right? Where an elector is unable or likely to be unable to go in person to the polling station due to that person's absence for whatever reason outside the islands. It has to be outside the islands. That elector may vote by post if, in the prescribed manner and within the prescribed time, that person applies to be treated as an absent elector and furnishes an address in the islands or overseas to which the ballot paper is to be sent for the purpose, and if that person's application is allowed by the registering officer under Section 53. And then goes on to clarify that an election for which a person's application to be treated as an absent elector is allowed, that person shall not be entitled to vote in person under Section 47 or Section 50. And it says, nothing in this section shall be taken as conferring a right to vote on a person not having the right apart from this section. So let's parse some of that out there. An election for which a person's application to be treated as an absent elector is allowed, that person shall not be entitled to vote in person. So you make an application to be treated as an absent elector. That application is approved. Ballot paper and all of the additional paraphernalia to allow you to complete the process is sent to you. There is an indication placed then on the register of voters that you have been sent an absent ballot. You cannot then go to the polls on election day to cast your vote because you have already been issued a postal ballot. Now, whether or not that postal ballot is returned, if you didn't get it, you are not allowed to go to the polls once a ballot paper has been issued. That is to prevent you from being able to vote twice. Now, when those ballot papers are returned, the envelope that they're sent in, there is no way for the officials receiving the envelope that's coming back with the ballot paper and other election paraphernalia in there to know who that is coming from. So, but your name has been asterisked. It has been denoted by your name the fact that you have been issued with a postal ballot. They're sent out in such a way so that there's a speedy receipt of them coming back, the absent voters' ballots coming back. At one point in time, it used to be by registered mail, only to find out that registered mail was slower than the regular mail. So that was changed. So you can send it by courier. Also, you can a ballot paper can be delivered by hand to the returning officer, but it has to be delivered before the close of the polls at 6 in the evening. When the polls close, it has to be delivered before then, so it can be delivered by hand as well. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Okay, Mr. O'Shea, I'm back again. I tried to talk so fast a while ago. I didn't realize that I could have shared with you
Yes, sir.
the information I received from Cleveland Clinic. And this is not to have any negative, I don't know what, to medical people here on the island, but a lot of people here have a lot of respect for those doctors, and I thought it would be good. They said if you receive the Pfizer vaccine, your next appointment would be 3 weeks from your first appointment. If you receive Moderna vaccine, your appointment would be 4 weeks from your first appointment. In Florida, you'll be offered a chance to schedule your second dose when you make your first appointment. You can find more information on our vaccine landing pages. What to expect with your second dose? You likely heard stories about the COVID-19 vaccine second dose. While it is true that you're more likely to experience side effects after the second shot, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will. Many people have little or no reaction after receiving their second dose. Common side effects following vaccination are a sore arm, fatigue, and muscle aches. Some people get fever and chills, especially after the second dose, but they don't last long. About 1 to 3 days, rare reactions are rare. You shouldn't pre-medicate. You shouldn't pre-medicate before the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
But you can take acetaminophen, Tylenol afterward to help ease discomfort as long as you don't have any medical reasons that would normally prevent you from using these medicines. Side effects are a good sign. They mean your immune system is taking notice of the vaccine and reacting appropriately. If you don't experience any reaction after either dose, it's no cause for concern either. Everyone is different and will respond differently. You shouldn't skip the second vaccine dose because it helps your body stay protected longer and more fully against COVID-19. If you get both doses, you'll have about 95% chance of not getting sick if you're around someone who has the virus. We know that the vaccines are a key to controlling this pandemic. Once you're eligible, I encourage you to get it whenever and wherever you can. Thank you for your patience. So hopefully, like I say, if there is some doubt on anyone resident on this island and what their local doctor is telling them, hopefully what these people are saying would encourage them to go forward and get the vaccination.
Certainly. And I believe our health authorities here do provide similar documentation and leaflets in relation to the reactions and everything else also.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
The more the better, because I heard some people say, well, I will wait. I say, what you wait for? I want to see what kind of reactions these people have that took it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, well, you might be playing with fire because, COVID not going to wait for you. If you get in the area where it's alive and well, and you may contract it, talking about waiting to see how your body reacts.
Mm-hmm.
So, I try to encourage them, say things that I think hopefully would help them, encourage them to go and get the vaccination.
Certainly, and everyone reacts differently to it. Some people may have no reaction whatsoever, while others may have a severe reaction.
That is correct. I had no reaction, but I offered what I did, and I was glad that when I went to this email from Cleveland Clinic, they were saying also about Tylenol, could be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to thank you, Mr. O'Shea, on behalf of the people of these islands for the information that you put out, because information is powerful, and if they have it and they get the right information, no telling, it might save a life. So thank you again. God bless you, brother, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you very much, sir, and all the best to you too, sir, and please stay safe. Time for us to take our last commercial break for the morning. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Kevin.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Mr. Bernie Bush, candidate for West Bay North, is postponing the public meeting originally set for Wednesday, March 10th. The new meeting date is Saturday, March 20th, from 7 until 9 p.m.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman will be holding a prostate and colon cancer awareness meeting at the Webster United Memorial Church Hall in Bodden Town on Monday, 8th March, starting at 7 p.m. Free PSA testing will be available along with a presentation by guest speaker, Dr. Solomon. For more information on prostate and colon cancer awareness, join the Lions Club of Grand Cayman on Monday, March 8th, 7 p.m. at Webster United Memorial Church Hall in Bodden Town.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I'll share some of the WhatsApp messages that we've received here. This one says, while we applaud our population for their compliance with COVID-19 restrictions, in fairness, we have to give the government credit for closing the borders and keeping them closed. Only the government could make that decision, and that decision has played a major part in keeping us all safe and alive. Then a person goes on to say that it is worrying to see so many signs being defaced so early in this election season. Although emotions can run high, we must maintain respect for the democratic process. There should be a zero tolerance for damage or destruction of election property. As a community, it is important that we focus on the real issues affecting our lives and vote accordingly instead of getting distracted by bad actions and illegal behavior. And as I said before, the candidates need to speak out about this. They need to condemn it. They need to tell their supporters. They need to tell those persons who are working on their behalf not to engage in such activity. I mean, at the end of the day, what it shows you is that those persons really aren't interested in the issues. They're not interested in the problems that these islands are facing. They're only exasperating that those problems by engaging in these criminal acts of defacing campaign signs, as well. This other person has written in and said had no reaction on first dose of the vaccine, but I'm going to get my second this weekend. As the person said that they went off on an emergency since then, and they have been in quarantine after that. So they will be taking their second dose soon. Minimum period of time for the second dose, I believe, is 21 days, but then it goes on to longer period of time. If you fail to get the first one, that you can still get the second. But of course, you're encouraged to get it as early as you can after the 21 days have expired. And if you have been given a date for your second dose, an appointment for that, you try to keep that under the circumstances as well. Very quickly, trying to educate the voters on the election process as well. I do know, that the candidates and agents of candidates are either provided with handbooks or they're given special lectures on the electoral process as well, while the voter has to rely on the law, the instructions that are given at the polling station as well, and of course any advice that is publicly given by the supervisor of elections and his management team as well. So I will talk a little bit about spoiled ballot papers. You know, or you may be aware that on election day at the polls, if you go to the poll and you're given a ballot paper to go into a voting booth and to mark that ballot paper, if for some reason you decide that you have spoiled your ballot paper, you may have voted for the wrong person that you wanted to, you may not have feel that you have marked it in the correct place on the ballot paper, or for some reason you have decided that you spoiled your ballot paper, you are allowed to go back to the presiding officer, the person who gave you that ballot paper in the first place, to tell them, I have spoiled my ballot paper. That ballot paper will be retrieved from you. The presiding officer will check that ballot paper to ensure that it is the same ballot paper that they gave you. And there's a way of ensuring that it is the same ballot paper, because when the presiding officer gives you that ballot paper, they will place their initials on that ballot paper so they can recognize it when it is returned to them. Once they have confirmed that that is the ballot paper, they will then write spoiled across that ballot paper, issue you with a new ballot paper, and you go back into the booth to vote. You're only voting one time, because that first ballot paper that you spoil, you have given that back to the presiding officer. That is not put in the ballot box. Okay? Similarly, if you receive a postal ballot and you make a mistake on it, you are allowed to return that ballot paper along with all of the other voting paraphernalia to the returning officer who sent that to you, and they will issue you with a new ballot paper to cast your vote. So the same privileges that an individual has when they go on polling day to vote at the polls in person are the same privileges that the person who receives a postal ballot, they have the same privileges that a person who has received a postal ballot. The only difference is that the time frame within which you will need to get that postal ballot, that spoiled postal ballot, back to the returning officer and for them to get it, a new one out to you, that time period is pretty condensed, so it has to be done fairly quickly as well. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you, ma'am?
I'm great. And whilst I understand the importance of explaining to the voting public about the process of voting, I'd like to remind you on Radio Cayman that today is the International Day of Women.
Yes.
And women have played such a significant part. I'm surprised that women didn't call in and remind you. Women have played such a significant part in this country that we should not forget to big them up. You know, if it weren't for them during the Southwell years, neither you nor I would be as educated and I'm sure and on our own feet as we are, because the women really held us strongly and prepared us well for
So
today.
true, so true, so true.
And so if you could spend a few seconds just bigging them up, in particular the 24 women that wrote in 1948 and the other 300 that signed the petition so that we can vote, because it is on their shoulders that we stand. And I want to say to all women, happy International Women's Day. Thank you very much, my friend.
Okay, thank you very much. Miss, I won't call her name. She didn't identify herself. We all know her voice, though. We want to thank the caller for that as well. Yes, International Women's Day, and we know that women played and continue to play a pivotal role in the Cayman Islands. When our men went off to sea, they were the ones who handled everything. They were the accountants. They were the not the contractors, but they were the ones who entered into the agreements for the houses to be built. They saved the money for the blocks and the sand and the cement to be bought, as well. And they were the ones who raised the families as well. And then, of course, we see women playing pivotal roles in education. And, of course, our new national hero as well, who composed our national song, Beloved Isles Cayman, Miss Leela Ross Shire as well. And so, yes, International Women's Month, or Women's Day, being celebrated, and we want to big up all of our women here. We note also that in the got a caller? No. Okay. We note also that in the report of the observers in some of our previous elections here in the Cayman Islands, they talk about the lack of representation or insufficient representation in our parliament here in terms of women. And we hope and we trust that we will see more women elected in our legislature or in our parliament this time around as well. What we do from a legislative standpoint, either in our constitution or in our elections law, to make it easier for women to get elected. Some may say, well, you have to create a level playing field for everyone. Well, maybe the playing field is not level now when it comes to women running as candidates or for women being elected because of our historical bias, to in terms of men serving in our legislative assembly. And we have to get over that historical bias, because not only in the Cayman Islands but worldwide, we have seen that in many cases, women prove to be much better leaders than men. Women prove to be much better managers than men, despite the stigma that we have sometimes attached to women and their ability to perform. And we see it happening in all areas, in the armed services, wherever we're seeing now women performing as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who is less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join me at 12:15 for Talk Today, where I will be covering for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and accompanying me will also be Mr. Michael McLaughlin as well. So, folks, as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your